Hey, this is Carmine Appice, and I'm on Musicians on the Record. So let's get rocking.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is huge, musicians on the record. Bring it on.
Well, one drum hero you certainly met and talked about in your book was Buddy Rich.
Oh, he was the man.
He was the man. Can you tell us a little your relationship with him and your experience with him?
Well, I had a lot of fun experiences with him. You know, when I first met him, my manager was friends with his manager and this club owner from L.A., and Buddy was going to play there. And my manager said, hey, man, I think you should play with Buddy Rich the same stage. We'll video it for Showtime. Showtime was the first cable thing. You know, with Connected Generations. And I said, I don't know. I don't want to play with Buddy Rich. Because I heard the bus tape, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I said, I don't want to play with him. I knew his daughter,
Okay.
you know. And so anyway, it happened. Then it fell apart. I was glad. I went to the show to see him. And I took Vinny with me, my brother, and we were up in the balcony. And his daughter comes out. Carmine, oh, I didn't think you were going to come. I said, why? Because my father's really pissed off at you. And I'm thinking, oh, right. He's pissed off at me, the bus tape. Here we go.
Right.
He said, I said, why is he mad at me? He said, well, you challenged him to a drum battle like that asshole Ginger Baker, was his words, for press. And I said, I did not.
Right.
You know, I didn't do that. I told her the story. She said, that's it? I said, that's it. Well, come on back and tell Buddy that. I said, I'm not going back there and telling him that if he's mad at me. So she goes, come on, it'll be all right. I said, Vinny, you come with me. So Vinny went with me, went in there, and she said, Dad, this is that Buddy. She called him Buddy. Buddy, this is the guy that was going to play. Oh, you mean that asshole that was going to like that other guy, Ginger Baker? I said, no, that's not the story. I said, we both play Ludwig drums and blah, 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 blah. So he said, that's it? I said, yeah, that's it. I said, you know, you were like my first guy I ever listened to, you know. I'm not challenging you.
Right.
He said, oh. I said, do you smoke? I said, no. You smoke? No, I don't smoke. Do you smoke? I said, what do you mean? Pot? He says, yeah. Yeah, I smoke a little pot. He goes, good. And he reaches in, lights up a joint on chocolate papers, hands it to me. I take a hit. I give it to Vinny. I'm going, I can't believe this. I'm smoking a joint with Buddy Rich. Oh, my God. You know? And then we became friends after that. And he, you know, in the drum offs that I used to do, the Guitar Center stole from me. I did the first 5. And the second one I did, we had 10,000 people there in the park in Griffith Park. It was Carmine Appice Day, and my manager called me. I was out with Rod, and he said, it's Carmine Appice Day. It's going to be Carmine Appice Day, and Buddy Rich is going to be a judge. And I'm thinking, Buddy hates rock drummers. He ain't going to be a judge. He was the judge.
Wow. Incredible.
And we became friends, and we were going to do a record together, back to back. Carmine Appice, Buddy Rich, and Stanley Clarke was going to produce it.
Holy cow.
And we could never get all of our schedules together. And then he got sick, and I visited him in hospital and went to his funeral. I became friends with the family, and you know, he was just a great guy.
Right. Yeah.
And the funny thing, one funny story was the Muppets.
Yeah.
When he did the Muppet Show, that was my idea to do that, but I wanted to do it. And long story short, when I went to Australia, these people said I looked like this Muppet, the animal, when I played. You know, I had the curly hair and all the drums all over, and I was really bouncing my head around.
Right.
I never heard of the animal, and they showed me a video of it. I said, oh, wow, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
So I went back to my manager and said, I want to challenge this Muppet guy, Animal, to a drum battle. Okay, I'll call Jim Henson's studio. He calls him. And they said, oh, that's an interesting idea. We'll get back to you. Call back. We love the idea. We got good news and bad news. What's the good news? We love the idea. We're definitely going to do it. What's the bad news? We're going to use Buddy Rich. So I called Buddy. I said, I heard you doing the Muppet Show. He goes, how do you know? I said, it was my idea. He goes, hey, they wanted the best. So I said, yeah, F you, you bastard. You know? So we were friends, you know. And it was, to me, it was amazing because it must have been like John Bonham was when he met me, you know.
Right.
Or, you know, Like when I met Joe Morello, I mean, I was like, I was in awe,
Yeah, your music heroes, right? And you get
And then
to
he
be
became
buddies.
friends and became like a person.
Right. Did you ever get to jam with him? Maybe not a drum battle, but just
At my drum off, just a drum battle.
the drum battle.
Because at my drum offs, the climax was always all the judges played together.
Wow.
We all took fours, and of course, who wants to follow Buddy?
Right. Yeah.
I said, Vinny, you got fast foot and fast hands. I don't want to follow Buddy. What about Michael DeRosa? I don't want to follow Buddy.
Right.
Jocko from Shandana? I don't want to follow. Phil from Kansas? I don't want to follow.
Right.
Bruce from the Knack. I said, you know what? You're all a bunch of wimps. I'll follow Buddy. I got double bass drum.
Right.
And I followed Buddy.
Yeah. It's just
And it was
incredible.
great. It was great.
Just
And
incredible.
we became friends,
Yeah, it must have been a very cool thing, making friends with your music hero, and at any time you could say, "Hey, how did you do this or that from the record or whatever?"
Well,
right?
I never did that.
No,
We never talked drums. We
interesting.
never talked drums, other than in the helicopter. The deal was he appeared at my drum off in the afternoon. At night, he was playing at Disneyland,
Okay,
which he always played. And we had eyewitness news at the drum off, and in the helicopter was the eyewitness news camera. And it was Buddy was in the front. I was in the back seat. Next to me was the eyewitness news, and the pilot was on the right. So the camera was on Buddy and me. So Buddy said, he turned around and goes, "This is my friend Carmine Appice. He's a great drummer. But what do I know?" And I went, "Well, oh my God."
Right.
It's like flipping out.
No doubt.
And that's all the camera took
Yeah,
on there. And then we just talked about him going to his gig. And, I said, "I'm looking forward to hearing you play." And
yeah.
I saw him there a bunch of times. One time when I had first put the color in my hair, they wouldn't let me in
Really?
because I looked like a punk rocker. They wouldn't let me in. I had my wife at the time had a broken ankle. She was in a wheelchair. I said, "Give me a break."
Yeah.
I said, "I got my wife in a wheelchair. I pay big taxes to the state in this country.
Right.
And you're not going to let me in because I have red in my hair?"
Right.
So they called Buddy. I said, "Call Buddy Rich."
Yeah.
Buddy Rich, I'm here to see Buddy. I'm his friend. I'm on his guest list. They called Buddy and they said, "If you don't let him in, I'm not going on."
Wow, that's good.
And they let me in.
Yeah, as they should have, right? My God.
Yeah. And then, of course, we smoked a joint in the locker room, which was totally against all the laws in Disneyland.
But it's rock and roll and jazz. We're breaking the rules, right? So on my Facebook page, I put out that we were meeting and interviewing, and I asked folks to say their questions that they wanted to ask you. A gentleman named Duncan Branham asks, "Can you play 5/4 in a 3/2 form rather than straight 5?" Does that make sense?
3-2. Yeah, I don't see why you'd want to do that. I mean, probably. You're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, do the get that, do that, do the, but it's like playing 4/4 and 3-1.
Right. There isn't much musical call for that, right?
No, I mean, usually if you're playing 5/4, you're playing a 5/8 or 7/8. You're playing straight across, unless the riff that you're playing goes like that,
Would you say?
There's a Rascal song that actually does that. It's called "Real Thing." It goes through 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Okay.
Because that's the way the riff goes.
Got it.
But you don't play it. You play it as a bar of 5.
Got it. Are you counting when you're playing?
Not usually.
No, you just play at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that ever the case for you, counting?
Not really. When I was learning like linear stuff, or when I was learning to play 7/8 timing and 9/8 and 13/8 and 15/8 and 5/4, yeah, I would count.
Yeah.
But now, you get to a point where it gets in your body and you feel
Right.
it's in the blood.
That's right. Exactly. Muscle memory, right? So
Yeah.
we got Dave Ferris asking, you've been playing dates with Felix and Gene of the Rascals this summer. How much of an influence was Dino Dinelli on your playing?
Well, Dino was an influence when I was younger. before he was in the Rascals, as I talked about before. And he kept being an influence all the way through the beginning of Vanilla Fudge, because he was awesome. He was a tremendous player. He was a great, like, R&B rock player, with some jazz overtones, some Gene Krupa overtones, fast hands, good sounding bass drums, had good combinations, great showman with what he'd do his sticks, and he was awesome.
Let's talk briefly about you and your brother. I mean, you got a musical family going on. Are there some more drum battles in store for us?
Yep, we're doing more gigs in October and November.
All right.
And, and Vinny is one of 7 drummers in my family, my father's side of the family. And, but, I noticed when I left the drum set home, and I went home one day, and he pulled me in the room and said, "Carm, listen to this," and he starts playing a groove with fills, and I said, "Wow." My mother said, "What do you think?" I said, "Wow, it sounds great." I said, "What do you think we should do?" I said, "We should send him to my teacher." While he was young, he was like 9 years old, So she said, "Okay, he's driving me crazy like you did." So I wrote a song on our album called Brothers and Drums. And the lyrics is, it started in Brooklyn down on 41st Street. It was me, my family, trying to figure what we want to be. There was no little Vinny when I started to play. Then later, years later, I found, never thought I'd hear my brother say he loved the drums like I did, and we played them for you. And he practiced, with a drum set I left at home. He practiced, I forgot the exact lyric. He practiced something to the bone, and my mother said, "He's driving me crazy like you did. Now we're brothers in drums."
That's great. I love it.
It's a really, really cool lyric, and it just came to me, once I came with the title Brothers in Drums, I said, "Oh, this is cool."
It's awesome.
And he grew up, and I mean, I was just with Rick Derringer on the Hippie Fest tour, and I reminisced about the day he called my mother. He called my mother's house asking for Vinny. And my mother said, "Hi, Mrs. Appice," at the time. "This is Rick Derringer. Is Vinny there?" "Oh, no, you want Carmine." No, I want Vinny." No, you want Carmine? "No, Mrs. Appice, I'm calling for Vinny. I want Vinny to join my band." Wow. She couldn't believe that, Rick Derringer, who was a name at the time,
Sure.
was calling for Vinny. Wow. He was 16 years old. He played with John Lennon, playing with Rick Derringer. He quit high school. He's 17. He's out on the road opening up for Aerosmith in stadiums with Rick Derringer.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
And I had nothing to do with it other than sending him to the lessons and help him along the way whenever I went home.
Right. Well, it certainly sounds like you inspired him as a big brother and your success, right? Your success.
Yeah, I mean, my mother used to take him to all the shows and Fillmore's, and he'd see me on Ed Sullivan. We did all these different TV shows.
Right.
Right. There's a show. We did. I had the big bass drums and everything. My hands were up here, and I was just killing it. Yeah. Killing it.
Right.
And Vinny's watching. He's saying, "I want to do that." And then on the record, we did this thing where "Is that my brother on TV? That's what I want to be." He wouldn't say it. I did it in a kiddie voice, but he wouldn't say it.
He wouldn't do it.
No, he didn't want to do it. I did it.
That's fantastic. The other question that I had, and just briefly too, we talked about this last time, but you ended up playing on Pink Floyd's album, Momentary Lapse of Reason. Can you recap that story for me, please?
Well, it was in late 80s. I was with Blue Murder at the time, and we were home, I don't know, waiting for something. I don't know what we were home for. And I got a message by Bob Ezrin on my answer machine. He said, "Carmine, I'm producing a record that's screaming for Carmine drum fills." I go, "Really? What is that?" I can't imagine what it is. And I call him. He said, "It's Pink Floyd." I go, "Pink Floyd? Where's Nick?" I knew all those guys. We did tours with him with Vanilla Fudge. Because Nick is racing his Ferraris, and his calluses are soft, and they wanted to get some new blood. And this song is just screaming for your fills. I said, "Wow, okay." So I went down. I got paid a fee, and spent the whole day. And they filled up 24 tracks at a time, and And I played to a 4-track. I was there 12 hours doing it. And then I never heard the finished product. So every time I called Bob, he was putting the drum part together from all the different takes. Every time I called, I said, how is it? He goes, in one word, amazing. In one word, dramatic. In one word, thumping. In one word, just all these silly words. And so, well, when can I hear it? And so as soon as I finished, I never got to hear it. And I was doing a movie up in Canada. I was appearing in this movie called Black Roses. I did the soundtrack for it, and they wanted me to play drums. It was a movie about a musician band that was taken over by the devil. It was a heavy metal movie. And I heard that Pink Floyd album was coming out. So downstairs, they used to have these malls underneath the ground because the weather was so bad. So I went downstairs, found a record store, which you can't do today. Right? And I bought the cassette. So I had the Walkman. I bought the cassette, and I played it for the first time for myself in the room, and it was awesome. I said, God, I want a Pink Floyd album. Right. And then they went out on tour and they played that song, and they had what's his name trying to play Nick Mason trying to play my song, my fills. Right. I got to say, he had a hard time of it. Right.
Yeah, great drummer, of course, Nick Mason, but a different type of drummer.
He didn't have double bass drum.
Right.
He was very laid back. He didn't have that kind of fire that I always had,
That's right.
And as a matter of fact, I have a drum head that I'll send it to you. It says, I'm selling it on the Rascal Tour. It's a picture of me, like one of my stances like that, ready to kill something. And then there's a little bit of, I superimposed some fire, and it says, Carmine Appice, Fire and Fury.
Wow.
When Trump said that about North Korea, I said, what a great line. I got to use that for something.
There you go.
So I use it on that.
Amazing. And it was Dogs of War, the song.
Dogs of War was the track,
Dogs of War was the track. Amazing.
And after the track started with no drum, and when the drums came in, it was like King Kong. Big drum sound, big fill into the 6/8 groove, and then lots of fills around that 6/8 feel.
Right. Yeah, amazing
awesome.
song. Yeah. Lastly, Carmine, you've had such an amazing career in rock and roll, ups and downs, great books, the author of Stick It and The Ultimate Realistic Rock. Where do you see music going for you at this point? Where do you want it to go for you?
I'm just going where, what I've been doing. Hopefully I can get to do another record with my brother. I know it's not going to sell gold, but, it was fun to do, and it's fun to promote, and fun to write the songs. I'm still playing with Vanilla Fudge. Vanilla Fudge just did a DVD. Again, all these projects are not going to sell platinum and gold, but Vanilla Fudge, gets Audi car commercials, and we get into movies, soundtracks and stuff. So I anticipate that's still going to continue. And playing with the Fudge, Rascal, maybe do some shows with King Cobra. We're talking about maybe doing King Cobra and Last in Line, which my brother's in, which is got Vivian Campbell in it,
Amazing.
And King Cobra and Last in Line would be a good heavy metal show from the '80s kind of show.
Sure.
And just keep playing, and real estate on the side. I collect cars, and I'm having a great life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a great wife, girlfriend. We've been together 16 years. My kids are grown up. They're doing great. And I got a great family, and, I'm reading the Bible for the first time in my life.
Okay. Yeah.
And I always loved all those stories. I saw all those movies, and now reading it, I'm actually not reading, I'm listening to it.
Okay.
Wow. But it's interesting because I could be driving and listening, and
sure.
And it's amazing stories, and and I'm trying to be a better person with it.
And
that's why I'm talking to you for 2 hours.
That's right. And I am so appreciative of you, Carmine. I am a fan. Thank you so much sincerely for your music and for being on Musicians on the Record today.
No problem, man. It was a lot of fun. You had good questions all the way through, and I appreciate that.